People of the verse, hello! Welcome to the channel, it's The Eradicator. I am here live with the community. We're doing this as a live stream and we're going to check out our latest episode of Inside Star Citizen. We're going to break it down and see what is revealed to us in this little shorty 9-minute and 25-second episode that we are going to make longer. That's why you guys are coming to the channel, so that we can have more meat than what is being brought to us by Cloud Imperium. So here we go, let's get started. We'll have interactions, we'll also have a little glimpse of what Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 is going to look like with the sprint report. So let's get started. 3, 2, 1. This video is brought to you by the people who support this channel on Patreon and via the join button as well. Supporters of the channel get access to lots of cool perks, such as access to my private Discord, your question answered in the show, you get to know when I'm going to play, and also you get to have a chance to influence the editorial line of the channel. Any help is appreciated, starts at just $1 a month. Thank you very much for watching. This is The Eradicator, and I'll see you guys later. And boom! The sound is working well this time.
The interactions that we have in our game define how reactive the environment is, define how simulated that space feels, how real and immersive it reacts, and is a big part of
what is this?
Driving emergent gameplay of, I see a thing, I understand it,
That is
I
brilliant.
expect it to behave a certain way, and then it does.
Look at that. So what that is quite crazy. That's quite crazy. I can't wait to see that in the verse. So we're getting here. We're getting here to some pad of a rest stop. Probably we open this little container, which itself has a container that needs to be opened, and then we can get those interactables. It looks like it's some kind of battery. What is this? I have no idea what this is. But this is a fuse. Yeah, maybe a fuse says boom boom bangs. This is. Maybe these are the relays Chris Jogan is talking about. Absolutely. But this is the future of Star Citizen and the kind of interactions that we will have in the future. I love that kind of immersion. That's awesome.
We make zoos primarily to demonstrate.
Okay, so that's what they call zoos. It's not really a zoo with animals, right? It's a zoo with actual assets that are going to be in the verse, right? Basically, they have all the assets in the verse, and that's how they can interact with them and test all of those future gameplay elements that are going to be part in the future. Yeah, it's kind of like engineering gameplay. It's going to prep. It's obviously going to prep for future engineering gameplay. Absolutely, Moonshadow.
A playground of the functionality that we have.
Whoa,
and
nice gun.
Also, here is an example setup.
Alright, Calix Renault. I have never seen this senior vehicle system designer, but nice to see new faces here in Star Citizen. Calix Renault, welcome to the show.
Of how those things are achieved. A designer is able to go in and see that if they've had any issue with their own implementation prior to bothering an engineer,
wow.
They can take a look at the gold standard of here's a thing with nothing else working.
Wow.
See if that gives you some hints first.
Oh, wow. Did you see that? We'll be able to actually break lights. Is this actually going to be a thing in the future? Like if we shoot a light, it's going to be broken. We'll have to fix it. That is going to be some awesome awesome interaction, and that will be actually a great way for people who are a little bit destitute in the verse, people who don't have a lot of money, to take side missions at landing zones, because it's going to be possible. Let's say Lorville or Area 18, a light is not working anymore. There can be a mission popping up. It may be for not a lot, maybe 500, 1000 alpha UEC. Hey, go to this workshop, pick up a light, and change it at this location. If you don't have a ship, if your ship is not in good order, you only have one ship. Your ship is in not a good shape. It needs repairs. You don't have enough money for those repairs. You're gonna have to take those missions eventually. And this is going to be paving the way for those future landing zone based missions that destitute players, because some players are going to be destitute. What are we going to do with those players who don't have enough money to fly? Well, we need to provide them with enough interactions, things to do so that they make money, then they finally have enough money to pay for those repairs, and then they'll be able to fly, right? So that's why what we are seeing here is extremely important.
Before we start interrupting an engine.
There you go. A captain says that. I would love small missions where you have to do some menus. And even if I have millions of Alpha UEC, I would love to do that too. Just for like, oh yeah, today I'm going to RP as a mechanic. Absolutely.
Engineer. If you go in and you find it broken, that's a good moment to call
There
it.
you go. Yeah.
All that in mind, we've been making an interaction zoo, a place to demonstrate all of the different nuanced and complicated interactions that we can get between a bunch of different entities that designers can go take a look.
By the way, did you see that, guys? We have close, open, and lock. And I really hope that this is a feature that will come in Star Citizen as soon as possible, because I am tired of people opening doors in my ships without my authorization. So if we can have a lock button, then maybe this could be a great way to get rid of stowaways, if you see what I mean, right? Or if we have a stowaway, we just lock the door and you can't get access to the cockpit. That's too bad. Yeah, you're in my ship, but you can't do anything. That would be a very nice comfort, additional comfort in the verse. Give it a few years, says Janos Morrissey. Oh no. Well, Janos, it's gonna be done when it's done. That's the policy, right? Done when it's done. Don't expect it. It's just done when it's done. Lockpicking, says Rod. Yeah, lockpicking. And there's a game that has some great lockpicking. I don't know if any of you guys played Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is a game that I like to talk about as well. Kingdom Come Deliverance has some great lockpicking. And if we get to have some good old-fashioned locks in Star Citizen, I would love it to have the same system as Kingdom Come Deliverance, because it works just great.
Look at and draw inspiration from to pull into their levels, their ships, their whatever environments we're making. The reason I like zoos...
Look at that. Open, depressurize, and unlocked. Awesome. For the Karak, look at that. That is going to be, maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe we are looking here at some of the panels from Star Citizen Alpha 3.12. We never know, because they usually don't give us dates anymore, right? With those Inside Star Citizen episodes. So, yeah, the lock, exactly. Moonshadow. Let's look at the lock there. Lock and unlock, yeah.
Philosophically, I believe, as a game designer, the two core parts of gameplay are collision and doors. With our doors, we've got all these automatic doors, and those doors connect between rooms, and every time a door doesn't react the way you expect, it breaks your immersion and pulls you out of the game.
Yep, that's right.
Even with something simple like a control panel, we can explore...
Oh, did you see that? The new control panels here in the Constellation, looking very cool.
Things like enabling and disabling the proximity sensor so that you have control over whether or not it lets you through automatically, or if you have to interact, and make sure it's all working properly.
Wow, when is this coming out? When is this coming out? Look at the control panels in OC links to sensor attached to the door, toggle on and off so that you open the door when you want the door to open. Awesome.
Beyond the control panels, there's the doors themselves, which give us many opportunities for complex and nuanced behaviors. So we've explored things where if you cut the power to a door, it'll stop its behavior. The lights will go out.
Oh yeah. The power here, we just blew up the power generator. So how do you open the door?
Control panel, and you won't be able to interact with it in that way anymore. But then maybe we make this wedge kit that you physically place on the door, which pries it open, and which allows you then to sneak through.
Oh!
And maybe even past that, there's the locks on the door.
Oh, this is brilliant. Are we gonna be able to buy this in the verse to open doors? This is brilliant. When is this coming out? It will come out when it comes out, says Gondo.
Could be physical and have their own state. And
the cutting attachment. Is it finally going to work? Boom, there you go. There's that door's open.
Gameplay or some damage or some external thing that we could explore even beyond.
Oh, they're just exploring the idea. Oh, I'll buy the entire stock, Captain. You know, Captain, that's what I do. That's what I do in the verse. You know, when I need medipens, for example, like I buy the entire stock of medpens, and I'm sure I'm gonna have medpens for the next couple of patches, right? So if you need those door openers, I'll buy the entire stock. You know, the 20 of them. Boom, 200,000 off I use. At least you sure you'll be able to equip.
And that you might trigger an alarm. When alarm triggers, we want to have that event actually get passed through the environment. And so even just by having a single chain of communication, being able to interrupt it at any stage or alter it at any stage creates all this opportunity for subversion, reaction, for the doors to get locked down, and for the alarm lights to go off and start blaring, or for those things to fail to happen or get stuck in that state because something went wrong or some sabotage went right.
Yeah, those lights are annoying. Let's just shoot them, right? And if you shoot them, they don't have, they're not working anymore.
As each thing feeds into the next behavior, it creates a world that feels real. It creates a world you can make a plan for and a world you can react to.
That is awesome. By the way, speaking of reacting to, let's have a look again at this. Let's have a look again at this with no sound. Look at what's happening after. It's quite brilliant. So he's shooting at those explosives. They eventually blow up. Here, the explosion pushes the character because of force reaction, and then he has to get up again in order to be functioning. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Love this.
The way in which we...
Alright, well, this was really cool. I did not expect that to be quite informative, but that was a really great segment about what's coming in the future. Now, let's get the meat. We got the potatoes, let's get the meat now. And let's have a look at that sprint report. What is coming up in the very, in the future. Soon TM, done when it's done. In Star Citizen.
Interact with objects in the game world is essential to creating an immersive and enjoyable experience. And we hope that many of the interactions seen here, and quite a few that are maybe a little too early to share, will make their way into the persistent universe. But before that happens, it's time once again for a sprint report, so let's get to it.
Let's get to it. All right, what do we have here? The talent,
there will be plenty of ship news coming out of IAE in the coming weeks. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at work from the graphics team on adding iridescence to the hard surface shader.
Look at how this is so beautiful. Look at all those great red feather types. Yeah, the talons looking... I kind of need a talon.
Seen here on the Talon light fighter from Asperia. Now,
that's so funny because it looks so much better in model than in concept. I don't know what you guys think. When I saw the ship in concept, I was like, meh. Looks too much like a bird, right? You see what I mean? But in model, it's badass. See what I mean? It's like, this is the kind of ship the Eradicator would like to fly and use to eradicate people. See what I mean?
The original concept, the iridescent paint allows us to showcase a variety of luminous colors that seemingly change when observed.
Look at that. The Eradicator would be here. What are the sizes of this of those guns here? Size 3, right? How many size 3 does it have? I completely forgot because I didn't get... I was like, I don't want to be flying a bird. That's what I thought, right? But I love the iridescent color. Plus, it's my favorite color. Teal is my favorite color. So it's got some teal. Like that very much. And, you know, you get that fancy digital cockpit that like in the Prowler, you know?
Yeah. From different angles. This isn't necessarily the final look of the ship.
No, keep it, no, keep it like this. What do you mean it's not the final look of the ship? Keep it like that.
Implementation of this new aspect of the shader. You can bet that we'll be dialing it in further and that we'll see more of the Talon and...
Yeah, same for Robot. I need a ship now too.
Later weeks, ahead of its intended release in Alpha 3.12.
I'll see if I can update a Titan. Maybe I have 2 Titans. If I can update a Titan to that, maybe.
As part of an overall effort to revamp and unify the way scanning and radar...
Oh, look at that! The Idris with a special skin. What skin is that? Looks like the best in the show skin. Or maybe Xenotret skin. We don't know. That's a skin we haven't seen. Or maybe the Arlington. The Arlington Idris. Because we know that it is coming to come eventually, right? So let's keep on
works for vehicles and FPS players alike. The vehicle tech team has progressed on what they're calling the Radar Object Collection Subsystem.
Whoa, that's a Radar Object Collection Subsystem. What are we talking about
Using a temporary back-end UI at the moment while it's still being developed, this will eventually form the underlying basis of finding and filtering almost anything with an ambient signature. You can see how enabling the resource filter shows mineable rocks ahead, while toggling the infrared adds the cutlass info that's a bit farther behind them.
Oh, so we'll be able to see stuff that's behind stuff. Man.
Now, since not all scanning options will be available in all situations, reducing our options down to a simple cross-section scan means that we can see the ship when unobstructed, but that scan data is now occluded as asteroids or other items come between you and your target.
So we can't see it anymore.
It will apply to both ships,
and now we can
as
see
well as players or NPCs
see the data
hiding
here
behind large objects, walls, or even doors.
Oh, that is going to be quite complicated. And I like, I like all that difficulty and all of those extra details added to the game, because this is, again, one step closer to making this game truly multiplayer. Not every player will be able to specialize in everything. There are players who are going to be more specialized in mining, players who are going to be specialized in engineering, players like me who will be specialized in trading and combat. And it is going to be so complex that it is going to be impossible, near impossible, because some geniuses are going to be able to, and that's good for them. It's going to be near impossible to master all aspects of the game, which is brilliant because it is really going to force you to play with other people who are specialized. People are going to be able to make careers with their own knowledge, their specific knowledge of the game that other players will be able to use. And that is brilliant.
Meanwhile, work on refinery decks continues with this look at some of the exterior.
Look at that spacescaping here. Those stations looking gloomy here in the shady background. Look at those asteroids looking a little bit bigger as well than what we currently have.
And how that sits within the upcoming Lagrange point gas clouds. Now this.
Okay. Oh, that is definitely looking different than the cargo. Now, interestingly, since all of the stations above planets have cargo decks, does it mean that the stations at Lagrange points are going to have the refinery decks?
The review specifically was to get an early look at what these stations might look like once they're embedded in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. After some consideration, one thought was that
we also have the little Easter egg here. We can also see the
maybe
docking
a few
colors
more asteroids could be used to flesh out and more appropriately theme the exterior of these refinery stations. That was an easy call, but it will also have to be balanced with our desire to avoid turning our major trucking lanes.
Yes, it's live, Adrian. It's live.
into obstacle courses. Well, not all of them anyway. Now, while the look of these are coming along nicely, we'll talk more about how actual refining gameplay itself will work next week.
Okay, so we'll have so we're actually going to have refining gameplay. So we have confirmed here 3.12, unlike 3.11 where cargo decks are empty, there's nothing to do there. We don't have extra gameplay in cargo decks. Refinery decks will have gameplay, and we'll talk about it next week in Inside Strategy. That is some great info. I wish that we could have talked about it today, but I guess we can't talk about everything, right? So cool. Now the question is, are those refinery decks only going to be at the Lagrange points? Because, around planets we already have space taken from the cargo decks. So yeah, that's going to be the next question, right? Maybe cargo decks will come from refinery mission gameplay. Maybe warp robot. We'll see. All right, here we go, guys. Let's have a look. DSV says, thank you, DSV. Thank you. All right, guys, let's have a look now at this is Pyro, basically, at the Pyro system and some of these brand new outposts.
Finally, let's check in once again with the ongoing work of our colonial-style homesteads.
Colonial style. Here we go. Look at that. This is I don't know which Pyro it is. This looks like probably I don't know, because there's definitely lava in there, so it could be.
We saw the 2D concepts turned into 3D concepts. And that was a big step in helping us visualize and evaluate the direction we wanted to take them. What you're seeing here is the next step in that look dev process, where we've now taken the raw, very rough 3D concept meshes and brought them down to a planet in engine, similar to the way the team reviewed 3D docking concepts by sticking them onto existing space stations.
Well, they obviously need to put some extra extra textures, but this is already looking quite fantastic. This is what we are going to expect here. I know, Robot, I'll show it. This is what we're going to see in Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, guys, and it's obviously going to take some time. We're not going to see Star Citizen Alpha 4.0, let's be honest, for at least 9 months, because that's what they said during this year's DigiCon. Probably server meshing is going to come by Q3, if not Q4. In 2021, so that's when Pyro will come. So there's still a long time until we see Pyro, but that's great because it's still going to allow them to populate Pyro more, to flesh out the system more, and this is what we will see here. It's just the early work they are showing us, because obviously a lot of us cannot wait for what is going to happen, but at the same time it's good that they're showing us, hey, we're being delayed, but this is what we're doing in the meantime, and I love that.
Now, it's important to note here that these are still concepts, and that the process of building them into viable in-game assets has not yet begun.
Oh, too bad. Well, still, for concept, they're still looking quite great. Yeah, it does look like Tatooine, or it does look like Star Wars type building, but at the same time, it's like the pinnacle of of sci-fi vibes, right? So if we can get inspired from Star Wars 1, and you know, Star Wars The Mandalorian is also inspired by Star Citizen, because the ship that the Mandalorian is flying looks very much like the Cutlass 2. So Star Citizen is also inspiring other media, including Star Wars. So let's keep that in mind as well.
Let's set our expectations accordingly. Tests like this are used to help us evaluate things like shape length.
Beautiful. Look at that. There's one here. There's another one over there as well.
How the structures feel along or against certain landscapes.
Very nice.
What kinds of visual stories can be told through placement, orientation, or combination.
Oh, what do we have here? Did you guys see that? Little Easter egg here. But what is that? This looks like the Pyro crab. Which is that's the Easter egg that you guys were talking about in the chat. Yeah. I did. Actually, I found this in Star Citizen Fractal Dome. Yeah, the Pyro crab has been modeled, and not entirely modeled, but at least yeah, it has been put here just to have to bring a little bit of excitement. Can you imagine? You have an outpost like this in Pyro, and then a bunch of Pyro crabs are coming and they attack your station, and you have to maybe take refuge on one of the roofs out and shoot them from above. That would be so epic, right? That would be so epic.
And even be used to help identify any sort of structure type that might still be missing from the proposed toy box.
Only a good crab is a dead crab.
Test, it's also just a really cool look into Star Citizen's future, when one day frontier towns full of NPCs with jobs or missions can be found throughout the universe.
Oh, that's going to be so awesome when we finally have, frontier towns, not just on Pyro, but also on Hurston and Microtech as well. And they'll just get lost on those plant surfaces with so many things to do, random missions, and you just be able to play like that for hours and hours. That is when really Star Citizen will come to life, and this is part of the creation process.
And then one day later, players themselves creating outposts all their own.
Oh, yes.
Rest assured that as work progresses, we'll keep following.
Very good, very good.
So what did we learn about this week?
Oh, well, Jared. All right, well, that's all for this Inside Star Citizen live breakdown, guys. I'm always stoked to be with you, with the community. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel as well, guys. You guys are absolutely awesome, and you really keep the show going. And I'll see you guys next time for more Star Citizen content. This is the Eradicator. I'll see you guys later.